All right, so we're supposed to be talking about stress. Do you want to talk about stress?
Yeah. So I should probably say my part. So the topic is stress. My part is I just traveled halfway across the country with a 2-year-old. It was a long flight. My sinuses are killing me, and travel is stressful as it is, just stressful in the system. So what can I do? I mean, I can be freaking out about it all the time, worried about it, or I can take a ton of liposomal vitamin C and make Diane bring me carrot, ginger, orange, like jalapeno tonic to clear me out and bring me all the garlic and all the things. So that's where I'm at right now, just taking a ton of vitamin C, which I think anybody should do if they're stressed out, and just hoping that the plane ride home isn't as bad.
Most medical doctors probably won't run a blood test in response to you saying that you're stressed. You could check thyroid levels in blood work, and that might tell you something, but more often your thyroid levels are probably going to be fine if you're just a little bit stressed from work. But what's going to happen is your cortisol levels are going to be messed up, and probably your female sex hormones, and then it would take a while for that to show up in your thyroid blood work unless you had a thyroid condition. Like your thyroid's basically going to keep working to balance that, but you would have to actually get a salivary test to get your hormones tested for this type of purpose if you're missing your period. And again, most Western medical doctors aren't going to do that type of test, and naturopath or functional medicine doctors, sometimes there are chiropractors that do that kind of stuff, and actually a lot of nutritionists who do the kind of work that we were doing when we did one-on-one work, we were able to order salivary, cortisol, and other hormone tests. But that's really what you would need to look at, and then work with your naturopath to get back on the right track.
Maybe don't focus too much on the blood work at the expense of just supporting your system with vitamin C and deep breathing and all that type of stuff. I drink a crap load of orange juice. I said crap twice, I'm sorry.
Stop saying that.
I drink a lot of fresh orange juice. I think it's the best way you can get vitamin C. I try and eat chicken liver. I try and do oysters with zinc. Fat-soluble vitamin supplement, but if you're going to take fat-soluble vitamin A, you want to make sure you get zinc as well. Diane brought me this.
I went into Whole Foods. Well, I pulled a lever, and it freshly pressed it right there.
So I'll probably take this down to here at some point today. I'm not worried about the sugar at all. Your body burns that up pretty quick when you're stressed out. Just looking for the fresh vitamin C and cofactors.
Fresh vitamin C being kind of the important part there. A lot of times people are trying to get vitamin C from foods that are not that fresh, and there's just not as much there as we think. One other really good source that I like for vitamin C, because you can keep it on hand and not worry about it degrading as quickly, are frozen peaches, because when you get frozen vegetable, you learn something new every day.
Interesting. I like frozen peaches.
So frozen peaches. The frozen peaches are a really good source of vitamin C. And because fruit and veggies that are frozen are cut and then flash frozen right away, right after they're cut and picked and all that good stuff, there's going to be a higher vitamin C content there. And also, I'm 99.9% sure freezing does not degrade things the way when we talk about susceptibility to damage or degradation. It's going to be light, heat, and air, the same things that oxidize oils that we eat. So vitamin C, if you buy pre-cut veggies at the grocery store, like broccoli, for example, or cauliflower, and you're trying to get a ton of vitamin C in, well, if they're already cut, all of the surface area of that vegetable that's been cut and exposed to air, that's getting exposed to more of a damaging effect from the air to the vitamin C. So if your main goal is to get the most nutrients from your food, you don't want them pre-cut. And that's kind of against the, make it easy, meal prep, whatever mindset. But, you have to pick what your priority is. And I don't think it's a big deal most of the time, but it's just something it's a fact. So it's good to know and do what you will with that information. But frozen peaches, yes.
Okay. All the normal stuff. Broth. Yeah. I eat whatever I want whenever I want it. I just feel like I generally don't want things that are not good for me. No, I have nachos probably once a week, but I use Jackson's Honest blue corn tortilla chips, like non-GMO, cooked in coconut oil. I use good cheese, veggies on the top, grass-fed sour cream.
Veggies on nachos?
Yeah, like sauteed onions and peppers.
Like a fajita style nacho?
Yes.
That sounds good. You should blog that.
Okay.
Take a picture of it and put it on your blog. Okay.
I don't worry about it too much. I don't police myself too much, especially because I need a ton of calories and nutrients just across the board just to not be completely stressed out chasing this kid around and trying to keep her from falling off of things. I had French fries today.
I think they're paleo. I mean, I don't know what kind of oil they're
potatoes and oil. I mean, what? There are plenty of people out there that are incredibly militant and, different strokes for different folks.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's kind of one of the reasons why we didn't name the podcast something paleo. I mean, it says a modern take on paleo living is like the tagline, but I mean, that is what we provide. It's like we have this kind of paleo template or paleo framework as the basis for things. And I think we both have this concept of what that means. Get a tissue. We might just leave the scene now and then. Meaning like the most nutrient dense foods that we can eat most of the time and avoiding foods that upset our bodies or our digestive system and all that stuff. But in terms of like trying to recreate what cavemen ate or paleo times or all of that, I don't think it's that important. But in terms of non-paleo foods, it really depends on like the time of year or what I'm doing with my nutrition. So for the last year, I'd been eating a good amount of rice, white rice, some steel cut oats and things like that. And then more recently, I've shifted back to a lower carb approach. I'm just testing some things out. And so when I go lower carb, I'm actually eating a lot more paleo because I'm basically eating more veggies and protein and healthy fats and all that stuff. And I would say one thing that's definitely come back into my diet every single day that's totally not paleo is goat milk yogurt. Because when I finally found that I could eat goat milk yogurt and not break out from it, I mean, I was probably doing a hallelujah dance. I'm still doing the dance, just you can't see it. But that was really exciting for me because I would rather eat yogurt than sandwiches any day.
As a very, very last resort, I feel like people can do desiccated liver pills. Like you can get those from a couple different places, but I'm just not convinced that they have the nutrient profile of lightly cooked chicken livers, for example. So to the degree you can get them down, try to get them down. A lot of people say pate, sometimes that's still too strong, but I like to make a meatball with 1/3 ground chicken, 1/3 chicken livers, and 1/3 chicken hearts. And at some point, I will put that recipe up, but I don't know what that's going to be.
So the bacon and superfood meatloaf was a new recipe I added to Practical Paleo 2nd edition. And I added that specifically to answer this question because you will not taste the liver. You are welcome to add a larger percentage of liver if you want, especially after you make it one time. Make it one time and see what happens. If you're using, it calls for chicken liver. If you have beef liver, use half as much of what it calls for. So I think I call for a half a pound. So just use 1/4 pound if you have beef liver and you had a cow share and you don't know how to use it because it's a lot stronger tasting. But you can gradually increase that as much as you want or as much as you think your family will eat it without tasting it as much, but you really will not taste it in the meatloaf. And I am all about using some organic ketchup on there if you need to mask it. Like I think any downsides from your organic ketchup are gonna definitely be outweighed by the benefits of the nutrients from the liver.
Yeah.
But that's definitely gotten me to eat more liver just because I really like the meatloaf, and I don't mind the taste of liver when it's mixed in something. And there's also a pate recipe in Practical Paleo that I love the taste of pate, but I'm not really one to eat just sauteed liver. If your naturopath recommended it and you've had success working with your naturopath, then go with it. I don't have any reason to recommend against it. I don't think there's any real downside. With vitamin C, we can consume supplemental vitamin C at pretty high levels, and our bowels will tell us when we've had enough. So oftentimes you'll be recommended to take vitamin C to bowel tolerance, meaning you will start going to the bathroom if you're taking more vitamin C than you need. So there you go. It's kind of a self-regulating nutrient, and our body does need a lot of vitamin C all the time, and it's something that doesn't last very long in the body. So if you happen to be taking a multivitamin, for example, if it happens to be divided into more than one dose, vitamin C will be in both doses. And vitamin C also does not compete with other nutrients, so that means you can be taking it all day without worrying that something else won't be absorbed in its presence. It's possible that you're just eating a lot of high FODMAP and high fiber vegetables, and so you could be just getting bloated from that. If you actually have visceral fat, meaning organ fat, you'd be able to find that out by doing a test. I recently did a DEXA scan that was able to tell me lean body mass, body fat. It was able to tell bone density, which I think is the standard that DEXA used to only be used for. And then it was also able to tell me visceral fat, of which I had like not even 1 ounce, which was pretty cool. I was like, yay, paleo. So I would actually look at that to find out if what you're experiencing is bloating or if it happens to be visceral fat. And if it's visceral fat, depending on how long you've been eating paleo or healthy, clean eating, it can take a while to lose that. And you have to lose body fat all around to lose that visceral fat. I'm a figment of your imagination. What is that from? Spaceballs? What is that?
You guys, we were together all the time.
All the time. Ugh. We're not doing anything in Napa. Liz is here vacationing. You take a Napa.
You take a Napa. You don't move to Napa.
Don't move to Napa.
And you Bethel and Lucy. I'm a combination of Lucy and Mickey.
Oh, germs.
Oh, sorry.
I'm just kidding. Can you do it like here?
Okay, fine, Nicole, I'll try this one.
We'll catch you next time.